the harsh truth is that the friend zone is a place that many men have been to before and very few have gotten out. And I'll tell you this, as much as it hurts and it pains me to say that you'll never get out of the friend zone, I'll tell you what, you need to come to your senses and realize that there are better places to put your energy. And trying to get out of there is an endeavor not worth even entertaining. And I'll tell you what, any guy who has been deeply interested in a woman and can't seem to get past that part needs to understand this, is there are many reasons why you ended up in that situation, but there's many lessons to be gleaned from getting out of that scenario. So let's start with why you even ended up in the friend zone in the first place. This is the reason why. This is the reality. It was that there was no element of mystery. You've been figured out. There's nothing to figure out about you. She feels like she's figured you out and you can't penetrate her psychologically. There is no mystique. There is no mystery. There is no dark forces behind you that say something about this guy is threatening in a good way. You don't have any of those elements. In many instances, it's for a lack of experience more so than anything else. It's not really about you. It's just that you just weren't ready for the opportunity. And so you fumble it naturally. And that's what happens is a lot of times we're too gleeful, we're too jolly, we're too excited. And that unfortunately can be a little bit unattractive for a woman because it just shows that you're too excited. You've never been in this situation before. The scenario is too grand for you. You aren't ready. And I remember in particular, there was a girl in college that I was very much interested in. And yeah, I just couldn't seem to get past that hurdle. And then I realized like there was no point in even trying to get past it. I might as well, and you might as well, put that energy into someone new and start fresh with someone new than to try to get out of the friend zone. It just doesn't make any sense because men and women are not supposed to be friends. So if you find a girl and she automatically puts you in that position, then you're just, you're a gossip queen. You're nothing more than that. You're not looked at as an eligible sort of partner. And so that is very humiliating. And the last thing you need to do as a man is stay there and think that you're somehow going to get out. And like I said, obviously it's painful because you're like, well, I'm really into this person. I'm really into this girl. I want to see things play out. I want to prove my worth, if you will. And that is a futile exercise, right? Exercise in futility, if you will, in which, like I say, I think it's much best for you to abandon ship, set sail, and put your eggs somewhere else. This is the thing. You have to realize, well, this is an opportunity to not let this happen again. And as a matter of fact, this is not about protecting your ego. This is more about demanding respect. And that is what I would never allow somebody to put me in that position ever again, because I don't want to know how that feels ever again. It's embarrassing. And it's definitely a rite of passage in many ways in the sexual marketplace to be put in the friend zone. Every nice guy can kind of go and understand what that feels like. The point is to never let that happen again. And how do you prevent that from ever happening again is you lead aggressively. I'm talking about crazy, chaotic in the sense that it makes sense to you. Don't do something that's out of character for yourself, but I would say you go in there super aggressive, like a psychopath. And that way you weed out anybody who's even tepidly interested in you, and you only hold on to the ones that are very much enamored by your being. Then you really hyper focus on those options, and you don't look for the ones that are even half interested. That's one thing I think as I've gotten older, I realized was like a lot of time was spent on meagerly interested women that I could have put into more creative endeavors and not wasted my time chasing tail. But nevertheless, these are all growing pains, right? This is what, as a guy who's been sort of in the ringer and not realized that a lot of the techniques that were that I was exposed to was really just metrosexual, homosexual sort of dating advice. And so to get out of that required me to kind of take a step back and think, okay, what do I need to do? And so that's what I recommend to you, is to kind of look at how you can move forward and decide to be very aggressive in your forwarding and you reaching out to someone. And it's a numbers game at the end of the day. Yes, you're not going to get every single opportunity, but I think when you go in there with that sort of mentality, you'll get a lot more out of life. You got to be able to clench your teeth, bite some necks if you have to, and you go out there and you give it your best shot and you see what happens. And I'm almost guaranteed to tell you that the friend zone doesn't exist for these types of guys, for the types of guys that are very aggressive in their pursuit and in what they want, and they have clarity of purpose, right? And I guess you could say that goes for everything in life, not just the women that you choose to be with. But nevertheless, if you are in the friend zone, it's time to just set sail, move on, forget about her. It's over. Let somebody else take that. It's not for you. Move on. Keep going. Don't look back. And I'll see you in the next one.